My name is Park Kwesiasari, the engineer.
My name is Aisha Yakubu Khalid. Coming up in the headlines.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by
Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Secret ballot in Parliament to determine fate of President Akufo-Addo's new ministerial nominees. We have details coming up shortly.
Also coming up, European election follow-up mission raises concerns over lack of political will to implement some post-election recommendations.
Later in business, the UK High Commissioner to Ghana tells 3Business that Britain is committed to helping with Ghana's debt restructuring, but says expenditure and revenue mobilization will be looked at.
And on the international front, Rwanda commutes 25-year jail sentence against alien Hotel Rwandan hero who has been held behind bars for more than 900 days.
We've got details of all these stories, plus many more coming up in the next 60 minutes. Remember, we're streaming live on Facebook. We're also live on your DSTV channel 279. You can join us with your views, comments, and suggestions on any of our top stories. Feel free to visit any of our social media pages, Facebook or Twitter, and post a comment.
And also, we do have to mention that we are celebrating various careers in the country, as we've done since morning. I'm coming as a painter, and then Pakwesi, an engineer.
As an engineer. We'll begin with our very first story in Parliament, where over the last few hours, members of Parliament have been voting to decide the fate of ministers and deputies appointed and vetted recently by President Akufo-Addo. The appointment committee failed to reach a consensus on the nominees, with the approval referred to the plenary for a final decision to be taken on them. Well, earlier voting was delayed after disagreement on the processes. Right, so as I mentioned early on, we took you to Parliament where voting had just started, and we're going to be bringing you the very latest details of that, as well as many more. Our correspondent, Komla Kluche, is in Parliament to bring us the very latest details of that. And of course, the ministers that have been nominated, we have Member of Parliament for Addanti Asokwa, Katie Hammond, right there on your screen as Minister for Trade and Industry. We've also got Brian Champon, who's been nominated as Minister for Food and Agriculture. We've got Osei Bonso Amwa, that's affectionately called Obi Amwa, who's been nominated as Minister of State at the Ministry of Local Government. We've got Dr. Stephen Amwa, who's also been nominated as Deputy Minister for Trade and Industry. And then, of course, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adams, who's been nominated as Minister of State in charge of Finance. And then Stephen Asamoah Boateng, who is the final, who's been nominated as a Minister of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. So let's hop on live to Parliament right now. Komla Kluche is our parliamentary correspondent. He's been in Parliament all throughout the day to run us through the very latest details of this voting process. Komla, thank you very much. So can you just take us through what has been happening today in Parliament?
Yes, Pa. I mean, it's been quite a long day for both the NDC and the MPP MPs, and voting ended for some time now. What it is that counting is also done, sorting has been done, and then the counting subsequently. But as I speak with you, indications that I get, even though the speaker is yet to officially declare the result, the NDC MPs have lost it. And that's the indication that I'm getting. It does appear some NDC MPs have broken ranks and have voted in favor of the ministers who have been nominated by the president. The numbers or the figures are yet to come out. So I'm just getting some indication, and this is unconfirmed results that I'm just going to be running you by as we speak the yes votes 147, the no votes 97, and they are still doing some sorting. But what it is as we speak now is that the yes votes, and these are unconfirmed ones from my sources within the chamber, that the yes votes 145, whilst the no is 97. But let me lay this, that 2 NPP MPs were unable to vote. That's the member of parliament for the Dom Kwabenya constituency, Sarah Joat-Sapo. She didn't come to the house. We also got indications that the Kumewu MP, Philip Baswa, he was indisposed. In fact, the majority leader made the application or informed the speaker that Philip Baswa was on his way to vote. But later, after everything, when all the MPs voted, he did come back to the speaker again to indicate that unfortunately they were expecting Philip Baswa to come and vote, but he is unable to make it, and therefore they should move on with the sorting and then the counting. So unconfirmed as we have it is that 145 yes, then no 97. If you do the calculation, you will be getting somewhere in the region of 237. But like I did say, that some sorting out is still ongoing as we speak. And so we cannot say that this is actually the final.
Right, right, Komla. While we wait to get official confirmation from Parliament and, of course, from the Speaker himself, let's stay a bit on the speculations. And I'm sure this is what has created a lot of uncertainty within the ranks of the National Democratic Congress. We saw a few weeks ago the change in the leadership of that party. We saw Haruna Iddrisu being removed for a new leadership. And I'm sure they thought that they needed to get some consensus when it comes to voting in the House. Only yesterday, we saw Esiedu Nketia, who's the chairman of the party, in Parliament. And I'm sure he was there today as well, together with the General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party. We saw that letter from the NPP essentially urging all its members of Parliament to attend to the session of Parliament today and to vote. Now, if this turns out to be true, that indeed, first of all, you say categorically, Komla, that 2 of the NPP members of Parliament were not present. So if these 2 were not in the House and we had all of the NDC MPs voting, what would the number turn out to be?
Well, it would have meant that 136, 136 apiece, because Jechi Quayson is not allowed in there. So it meant that 136 majority, inclusive of the independent, and 136 minority. That's what it would have been. But I mean, I'm going to tell you this: prior to the commencement of vote, I was speaking to, and I do not have the authority of my source to put this out there. I just teased out whether they have been able, especially the minorities that is coming from a minority MP, whether they've been able to whip up enough their members. And you know, there's a response that the minority MP gives to me, that don't get your hopes high. There are too many dynamics, and that some Volta caucus, the Volta caucus wanted to vote for one of the justices, presumably Justice Ernest Gaiwu, and so the others were equally asking why they should not consider their friends who are ministerial nominees. The whole thing, you know, according to my source, he said the whole thing makes some way, but people have several relationships, and that he was doubting the 3-line whip. This is a chat between myself and another source within the minority. If this is anything to go by, it means that the current leadership of the minority have not been able to properly whip in line, you know, their members, or they just deliberately decided to break the ranks.
This is interesting, Komla. I will come back to you, Komla. I will come back to you. Just stay on the line for me. Let me go hop onto the other Zoom line. Dr. Rashid Rahman is Executive Director of the African Center for Parliamentary Affairs. Thank you very much, sir, for your time, and good to have you on News 360. I'm sure you've been monitoring all that's been happening in Parliament today, and of course, with the very latest reports coming in from our parliamentary correspondent, Komla. Your initial thoughts?
Well, if indeed what Komla is saying is true, then we are seeing a repeat of what happened on the night of January 6 into January 7, where we had some members of the majority join the minority to produce who is now the Speaker of the 8th Parliament. Because the numbers, as we are hearing, simply meant that, before voting started, the NDC side had some numerical advantage because of the absence of, I believe, 2 members of the majority side. And if they've been able to produce this massive win, as the majority chief whip has described it, then perhaps the NDC has a lot of work to do.
In Komla's summary, or in his concluding remarks, rather, when that text message he read, when somebody asked whether or not the NDC will be able to whip up its members, the response he read to us was that this goes beyond politics. It's more about relationships and friendships that people have kept over the years. Now, we know this is true. So why does the National Democratic Congress keep giving so much hope to their grassroots, and eventually this kind of hope dissipates with this kind of results that we see? And that's what creates the bitterness on the ground.
Well, I think that's why I'm saying they have a lot of work to do. I think we are in a situation where the majority doesn't have its way, and there is some assumption that the minority can always have its way because of the fact that they have numbers. But like you rightly noted, relationships have been built over the years. These nominees have friends across the aisle, and so on and so forth. And then maybe if we want to jump into the realm of speculating beyond friendship, we might also say that will this be the first effect of the kind of deal that was done the previous leadership of the caucus that also has its, strong following in the House, within the caucus. I think all these are issues that might have played into the kind of outcome that we are seeing unfolding right now.
Dr. Rashid Rahman, thank you very much for your time. I'm sure we'll return to you in subsequent bullets. And of course, Komla, we will also return to you as and when the official confirmed results do come out.
Well, let's turn our attention to other stories tonight. The European Election Follow-up Mission has raised concerns over the lack of political will to implement some recommendations made to the Electoral Commission and other stakeholders on Ghana's 2020 elections. Now, Chief of Mission Javier Nat, at a news conference in Accra, was disappointed 12 out of the 18 recommendations they made have not been adhered to, yet the country is preparing for another election in 2024.
The European Union has been sending observer teams to monitor elections in Ghana, including that of 2012, 2016 and 2020. The mission makes recommendations after every elections. Some of the recommendations made to the Electoral Commission and other stakeholders, particularly in the 2020 elections, include political financing, misuse of state resources, and the need to increase participation of women in politics. Others are more inclusive process for nomination of electoral commissioners and the management of petitions for parliamentary elections. A follow-up mission deployed from March 20 to 24, 2023, led by Chief of Mission Javier Nat, to follow up on implementation of recommendations made, regretted that there has not been a political will to implement their recommendations.
I came here on the 1st of April, and I stayed with all political actors and all the institutions that were involved in the elections, from NGOs to political parties and even to ministers. So what I can tell you is that I stayed, and I will name them, with the chairman of NDC, with the Secretary General of Convention People's Party, with the Foreign Affairs Committee responsible from the MPP, with the minority leader of the parliament from NDC, with the majority leader of the party from MPP, and with the Secretary General of the MPP. And to all of them, I gave personally the final report where 18 recommendations are exposed, are presented. There is, let me say, something that it is a little bit sad, not to say very disappointing. It is that the recommendations repeat from the time we were here on 2012 to 2016 to 2020. And it is a mirror repetition of what we are recommending to this country.
The team noted that the legal aspects in particular remain unaddressed.
The Ghanaian people needs to know soon how things are going in accordance with our view. It is the preliminary report. And then I repeat, we take some time because we are a serious team, and we prepare and we present the final report. And the final report includes 18 recommendations. We don't go to our fantasy. We go to international standards. And then we present something that is in accordance, not with European standards, with.
And now, Omahene of Ekuapem traditional area, Osiadeyo Kwesi Ekufu III, has assured the people of his firm determination to tackle unemployment, improve healthcare, and promote quality education and tourism in the area. He renewed his commitment when he visited Ekuapem Jasehene and Ohene Amanfrom Nana Osim Kwitia II. We'll go to that story shortly, but we are running to Parliament where we have some updates coming from the secret balloting taking place.
Honorable members, at long last, collation of votes has ended. The register had 275 eligible voters. 3 voters were absent. So 272 did exercise their franchise. The results of the voting are as follows. Honorable K.T. Hammond, 154 yes, 116 noes, rejected 1, abstention 1. Honorable Brian Achampon, 167 yes, 98 noes, rejected 4, abstentions 3. Honorable Stephen Asamoah Boateng, 147 yes, 122 noes, 3 abstentions. Honorable Muhammad Amin Adam, 152 yes, 117 noes, rejected 1, abstentions 2. Honorable Osei Bonsu Amoah, 149 yes, 120 noes, abstentions 3. Honorable Dr. Stephen Amoah, 146 yes, 123 noes, 3 abstentions. Honorable members, the House has accordingly approved the nomination of the following persons as ministers and a deputy minister in accordance with Articles 78(1) and 79(1) of the Constitution. They are Honorable Katie Hammond, as eligible for appointment to the position of Minister for Trade and Industry. Honorable Brian Achampon, as Minister for Food and Agriculture. Honorable Stephen Asamoah Boateng, as Minister for Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Honorable Mohammed Amin Adam, as Minister of State at the Ministry of Finance. Honorable Osei Bonsu Amoah, as Minister of State at the Ministry of Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development. Honorable Dr. Stephen Amoah, as Deputy Minister at the Ministry for Trade and Industry. Honorable members, on your behalf, I will congratulate the minister-designates for earning your trust to be appointed by His Excellency the President to the ministries aforementioned.
Well, there you have it. It appears all of the nominees have been approved as ministers and deputies. They've been massive yeses.
And all the noise and objection from the minority MPs.
It appears that we had a lot of yeses in some cases.
Yes. That's interesting. We're going to see what's going to be happening in the next few days.
Definitely. We'll bring you an extensive report of that in subsequent bulletins. But let's go back to our earlier story where Omanhen of Ikuapem Traditional Area, Osiadeyo Kwesi Ekufu III has assured the people of his firm determination to tackle unemployment, improve healthcare, and promote quality education and tourism in the area.
A royal arrival, resplendent with color and embodiment of the rich and authentic culture of Akuapem. A dazzling display of rich kente clothes, jewelry, umbrellas, and royal staffs, a riot of Edinkra symbols. Resplendent in beautifully crafted kente fabric and other regalia, Oman Hene of Akuapem traditional area, Osiadeyo Kwesi Ekufu III, and his people majestically thronged Amanokrom. Chiefs, elders, and dignitaries flocked the forecourt of Amanokrom Palace with various customs, practices, dances, and performances in colorful traditional apparel. A colorful Derba Edwards to mark the royal familiarization visit of the Akuapem Hene Osiadeyo Kwesi Ekufu III to Akuapem Jase Hene and Ohene of Amanokrom Nana Osim Kutia II. It's part of Osiadeyo Kwesi Ekufu's tour of the 5 divisions of the Akuapem traditional area to promote peace and development.
Ziampa apomodeng Ziampapa eni mpuntu Zwe oya man oso rekasan otise obo sa ne o nyina aso Zwe enu ti yenwresi enye ade foforo wo Akuapem mu ha Ziampa yenwresi ye kongado si ebetumpon na sa ne o man nso na ebeme yetumpon dia eni ene de ye nyina yensom ne yenta na achi.
Akuapem Jase Hene, Ohene of Amanokrom Nana Osim Kutia II, was more than welcoming. Not only did he shower his visitor with multitude of gifts, he also preached peace.
Akuapem yemomodeng na yenkamum na yengadia wonim se ye a eye yensu no yensan kofa biem. Na ye sa odom ni asundwe mu enna ni eda Akuapem Hene komaso no wetumaye misanga timuse dodo afo lowa misanga timuse adoso kopim suhum ye nyina se ye ma Osiadeyo yo Kwesi Ekufu otusu ebiesa akwa abasonko.
The Akuapem Hene is visiting the land for the first time since his installment and gazette in October 2022.
I've learned a lot. There are certain cultural practices hitherto I didn't know, but today I've gotten to know all of them, and they are so rich that we cannot abandon them.
Oman Hene of Akuapem traditional area, Osiadeyo Kwesi Ekufu III, pledged to be a chief for all. He urged the people to come together to work in unity for the development of the traditional area. Godwin Asideba, TV3.
Of course, live from our studios here at Adesawe in Kanda. I'm here with Portia. Oh my God. Aisha the painter, and I am Pakwesi the engineer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint, and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, 1 bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Every child is so unique. You like no other. Outstanding in every way. It's me like no other. So anytime you walk and play, you like no other. You are special like Indomie. It's me like no other.
Did you know that every child on the planet has their own unique fingerprint like no other?
You like no other. I can play the drums. I'm talented. It's me like no other. I can sing. I can dance. You like no other.
As well as their own unique talents and abilities.
I can cook. I can paint. You like no other. Indomie. It's you like no other.
So every day, in whatever you do, remember you are special in your own way, like no other.
Thank you, Mom, for letting me know I'm special and for making me my special Indomie. Thank you, Mommy.
Introducing Indomie beef flavor. Buy now.
This effort is FDA approved.
Every day, you work hard, trying your best, without rest. You work hard night and day to get where you want. You never give up, because you know what you are. And we know it too. Say yes to property. Adoha is the key. Drop by our showroom, the place at Roman Bridge, the new project, or give us a call at 030 27 89 757.
The sweet scent of rose in the morning brings me so much joy. Inspired by damask rose and infused with 100% natural rose oil. Introducing new Clay Soft Perfume Beads Washing Powder. It's like bringing a garden with you everywhere with this wonderful perfume. Take a garden with you everywhere you go with Clay Soft Perfume Beads Washing Powder.
The COVID-19 vaccine is safe and effective. I encourage all pregnant women to go in for the vaccine. And to add to this, I have a beautiful bouncing baby girl who is a year old now.
Remember, we are not safe until all eligible persons are vaccinated. Protect yourself, your family, and your community. Get vaccinated now.
The business segment is brought to you by MTN.
Right, welcome back to News 360, and of course, the market woman is here.
Yes.
Stella Michelle.
I am.
What are you selling?
Well, I have some tomatoes, onion, pepper, and then fish. But these are the kind of the items that are actually getting our inflation above the 50%, especially fish. Fish had inflation over 90%.
Right.
But as the MPC has ended their meeting, let's see, inflation over 20, if our PR is going to go up.
Well,
you look well dressed on the market.
Well, I am ready to deliver the news as well.
Take it over.
Britain has weighed its support behind Ghana's bailout request from the International Monetary Fund as the country appeals to bilateral creditors for debt relief. The UK High Commissioner to Ghana said her country is committed to seeing Ghana's debt restructured early enough to help secure IMF board approval for the much-needed $3 billion loan. Harriet Thompson, in an exclusive interview with 3 Business, however, said the government would need to look at its expenditure and revenue generation to make the process much faster.
Everybody will know that Ghana has approached the IMF for support precisely to get it out of the unsustainable debt situation in which it currently is. Now that's progressing well. The UK is supporting efforts by the Paris Club and through the G20, the Common Framework, to realise a means of restructuring the debt to make it sustainable, and then to get the IMF programme supported so that that can start delivering here in Ghana and bring about the sustainable economic conditions that everybody wants to see for long-term economic growth. The IMF programme will look at all sorts of areas of Ghana's economy, of Ghana's revenue raising and Ghana's expenditure, in order to come up with a package of reforms that will lead to that long-term economic stability, and we're totally supportive of that process.
Expect more from this, our exclusive interview. Away from that, mining companies, Goldfields and AngloGold Ashanti have agreed the key terms of a proposed joint venture to create one of Africa's biggest gold mines. The partnership will combine Goldfields' Tarkwa mine and that of AngloGold Ashanti's mine. The following report has more details.
AngloGold Ashanti will contribute its 100% stake in Iduapriem to Goldfields Ghana in return for a shareholding in the company. Under the proposed joint venture, Goldfields will hold a 60% stake, 30% for AngloGold Ashanti, and 10% holding for the government of Ghana. The joint venture, to be operated by Goldfields, would produce between 600,000 and 900,000 ounces of gold a year over a 2-decade lifespan. The companies jointly said the 2 neighboring operations have similar ore body, therefore expecting enhanced efficiency when operated together.
We know exactly the reasons why it makes sense to bring these 2 operations together, mainly due to the proximity and the fact that they can leverage off the qualities that each party brings to the table.
Increase value creation to all involved. So to the 2 companies, to government, to the communities, it's a win-win-win in all ways that you can look at it. Really, the combination gives you much bigger than we all can achieve on our own individually.
There are fears the joint venture will result in job losses, as some roles will likely be consolidated. But the companies say job losses would be minimal and the affected would be duly compensated.
Let's do more business news. Tax expert Francis Timor says Ghana stands at risk if Parliament fails to approve the 3 tax bills proposed by the Finance Ministry, though called out government for failure to engage industry players before proposing the said bills, reasons why there's a fierce resistance from many.
I think IMF will see, it's part of the staff level agreement that was agreed. IMF said, look, let's also see some measures being undertaken locally. So yes, businesses are going to have this impacted on their operations. Profits are going to be impacted because this particular tax that we are going to levy on the businesses are non-deductible, so they have to absorb it. Looking at the current economic situations, especially the banks, where the domestic debt exchange has even impacted them, those who have little profits are also going to have to pay it in the form of this sustainability levies. So clearly businesses are going to suffer, and there's nothing that can be done at this moment because we also need this for IMF approval. So the consequences are that if we don't get it, IMF may not go ahead with the approval, even if we achieve all other agreed negotiations that we have reached with the staff level.
Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Upstream Petroleum Chamber, David Ampofo, has warned the government to respect the stability agreement it signs with multinational companies in the oil industry. This follows government's decision to impose new taxes as it aims to raise additional revenues.
That, we keep our word, and that's what I mean when I say contract sanctity. When you have agreements that spell out tax issues, and then you proceed every now and then to introduce something as though those agreements in a sense didn't exist. You kind of it's a breach of faith, isn't it? I mean, people get worried about it because you can never be sure if taxes can just be introduced as and when you have your plans and you've done your plans based on the taxes you had agreed. These are the things that are concerning, and it's so important that we're careful with these things, and we do them in a way that does not sort of knock confidence.
And that's how I wrap up the business news right here on News 360 with me, Della Michelle. Log on to 3news.com for more business news. Sports is next after the break. Stay with us.
Doing never stops until the job is done. Turn your home and business into an internet highway and experience the revolution of working and playing without limits. Visit broadband.mtn.com.gh to sign up for MTN Fiber for home and business today.
Are you tired of struggling with bad financial situations? At Quick Credit, we understand the difficulties that come with transitioning to a better one. That's why we're here to simplify the process for you. With loan facilities from 1,500 cedis upwards, all you have to do is call and we will take care of the rest. All you need is your national ID. No savings, no collateral, no susu, no deposits, and no account opening required. Quick Credit has you covered. Whether you're expanding a business, starting a new one, facing an emergency like school fees or funeral expenses, or even just in need of a salary loan. What are you waiting for? Call Quick Credit today. 0302 200 390 or 059 692 0833. We do not give loans via the internet. Quick Credit is regulated and licensed by the Bank of Ghana. Terms and conditions apply. Quick Credit. Lending made simple.
As a young mom, you're not always sure that you're doing it right. Choosing a baby care product for your child can sometimes be difficult. I choose BabyMed Hypoallergenic Skincare products, specially formulated to suit my baby's fragile and sensitive skin. A complete range of products that makes every bath time a moment of tenderness and well-being. BabyMed, baby-specific care products.
Pepsodent is aware that globally, 1 in 2 children suffer from cavities. That's why by giving her Pepsodent, you're not only protecting her teeth, but also helping her grow up and thrive at every stage of her life with a healthy and confident smile, so she can succeed and achieve all of her dreams. Because every smile matters.
Time for sports. Yao Ofosulabi. What are you supposed to be?
ECG technician.
Great job that you people have been doing lately, taking back all the debts owed you.
Yeah, you know, so we have to take all our debts.
It's really important.
You have to pay. If you don't pay, we'll disconnect.
We'll come and disconnect you. Thank you very much. Take the sports away.
Let's get into the sports news this evening here on News 360. My name is Yao Ofosulabi, and ahead of the Black Stars' second leg game against Angola at the Estadio 11 de Novembro in Luanda, where Angola will be banking on their home ground advantage, head coach of the Black Stars, Chris Hughton, seeks for improvements in the Black Stars squad ahead of that game.
I don't think it's about strengths and weaknesses, because there are two categories. You attack and you defend. You defend as a team and you attack as a team. You know, what's the area that our game is all about scoring goals. And even when you are not at your best, when at least you score, it can take the pressure off of the team. And unless you do that, it gives the opposition a lot of encouragement. And it becomes a more difficult game. It becomes a more even game. So I don't think it's a question of the good parts of a game and the bad parts of a game. It's about improving, I think, our general play. And I think going into the next game, you know, I would like us to our overall game.
Well, that's Chris Hughton there. That's Black Stars coach. Now, in some few hours, that's actually an hour from now, the Black Meteors of Ghana will play their Algerian counterparts in the ongoing Under-23 AFCON qualification. Now, the team has been training at the Annaba Stadium since arriving in Algeria. Ghana is hoping to advance to the Under-23 Championship and fight for a place to play in the next year Olympic Games, which will be staged in Paris. Now, a win in a double-leg tie will confirm Ghana's place in the tournament, which will be staged from the 24th of June to the 8th of July, 2023. While still on the Black Meteors, and coach Ibrahim Tanko remains positive ahead of the game against Algeria in Annaba on Friday evening. Now, the Ghana Under-23 team need victory in the two-leg game to seal qualification for the tournament in Morocco.
We knew our opponent before we came, and I mean we played Algeria before the last one. We won against them to go to the Africa Cup. So, and the boys are ready and they know what they can do. So, I mean, first of all, we have to qualify, and then we think about the others. But those who are here, 100% very, very confident on them that they can deliver.
That's Ibrahim Tanko there, who's head coach of Ghana's Under-23 team, the Black Meteors. Let's head on now to the Ghana Premier League, where, incredibly, Kotoku Royals, who are bottom of the Ghana Premier League table, they beat King Faisal by 4-2 this afternoon. Tomorrow, Saturday, Karela will take on Hearts of Oak in Enyinase, and then Accra Lions will also face Bechem United at Accra Sports Stadium. On Sunday, at the Accra Sports Stadium again is Great Olympics, who will face Legon Cities. Brekum Chelsea will take on Tamale City. And then Dreams FC will face Nswatraman. BBN Gold Stars will take on Samatex. Adriana will also face RTU. And Kumasi Asante Kotoko will take on Mediama SC. That game comes off at 6 p.m. also on Sunday. All right, so that's all the sports news this evening here. My name is Yao Ofosulabi. International News and Entertainment. We'll come after the break.
Wake up! We have just 50 minutes to set off.
Let's go.
We want jollof for school.
Shower time.
I'll make jollof.
Jollof? We have 45 minutes. What about the cutting, chopping, blending?
Tasty Tom Jollof Mix has all the ingredients to make jollof already mixed in the pack.
Is it going to taste the same?
So you say Eda.
And if I jollof will hook me.
Pour oil. Add 1 pack of 210 grams Tasty Tom Jollof Mix. Fry for 10 minutes. Add water, some cube, and salt. Add rice. In 45 minutes. Sharp. Let jollof now bing. Right on time.
Delicious jollof and in 45 minutes?
How? Easy cry. Tasty Tom Jollof Mix. Delicious jollof. Sharp. This advert is FDA approved.
Water is life. Water gives life. Water moves through nature in a never-ending cycle. Observe the beauty of water as it flows all around us, refreshing and restoring. Gaze in wonder at the stillness and beauty of nature. There's harmony in nature everywhere around. Water revitalizes the body and keeps you going strong. Water is life. Water gives life. Drink Awake Purified Drinking Water. One for life. So relax and unwind, and in the calmness of nature, find the rest you desire. For every bottle of Awake you buy, an amount to be donated to the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert is at you.
Every child is so unique. You like no other. Outstanding in every way. It's me like no other. So anytime you walk and play, you like no other. You are special like Indomie. It's me like no other.
Did you know that every child on the planet has their own unique fingerprint like no other? As well as their own unique talents and abilities.
I can cook, I can paint. You like no other.
You like no other. So every day, in whatever you do, remember you are special in your own way, like no other.
Thank you, Mom, for letting me know I'm special and for making me my special Indomie. Thank you, Mommy.
Introducing Indomie Beef Flavor. Buy now.
This advert is FDA approved.
Entertainment news segment is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water and powered by 3 Entertainment.
Time now for the very latest. Why are you looking at me?
Richie says I should tell you to be brief.
I should be brief.
Once Anita is here, we know.
Dr. Nira, how are you doing?
I'm good.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. What's your designation today?
I am an engineer.
Engineer.
I work on planes.
Oh, that's impressive. Okay.
So you're in your consulting room.
Exactly. I need to check on you when I'm done.
Please do.
Yes.
What do you have coming up in entertainment?
So we're still putting the spotlight on our unsung nominees.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take it over.
All right. And as part of our mandate as 3 Entertainments to shed light on the unsung nominees for the 24th Vodafone Ghana Music Awards, we share a piece on Aya Ramsey B. He speaks on his journey before the nominations, some of his challenges and how he overcame them.
Aya Ramsey B is another nominee for the 24th VGMA Unsung Artist of the Year, and I am definitely going to be speaking to him.
Oh, look, it's a nice.
I mean, you've been around for some time. Finally being, nominated for the VGMA Unsung. What does this mean to you?
It means a lot to me. It's a stepping stone, and more there, or you need GSM, because we have a lot of artists. Yeah, what you did, what born more than Atasa. Now I'm my back was selecting my back on best 6. Timundo in Yanko Ponishation or hard working. So now I'm able to do this. So I give thanks to God. I'm very happy, trust me.
Let's go a bit into your journey, starting music. What are some of the challenges that you've encountered and how have you overcome them?
Charlie, it wasn't easy, but Bibiano, I think I'm easy. But Mr. Easy imposed on easy. I think the on the phone, your chassis will be being able to baby. To able to baby now light and also to young young day, or today we are doing something right. It's I didn't mean only ye at us, because 15 years more game on the phone at us, name a group. You might my be solo artist, my artist of the year or Western region. At us, and CC as on Yamiatom VGMA on sang artists make home. So Charlie, Mudanya Coupon ye biamo.
I mean, for 15 years and still counting. Don't you think you should have been nominated for a different category and not unsung?
Oh, why, Charlie? Every platform is a platform. Okay, yeah. So I'm more on somewhere big. The whole GH will be a show. Even outside GH will be a show. So on sang, Charlie is big for me, and I'm still working hard. From on sang, I'll go to Artist of the Year, trust me.
Do you think there's something that you did differently that got you this nomination?
Of course, I did my best. I really worked very hard. Manda atasa, because I know the Edo Bilapon will be good into Manda do or a time, but at the time let's on a year time to be Marco as I so me my best. Because it's not only Western region, Timoko all regions in me the Mondo me perform you know, I did my best. Mando. Yeah, it's intimate time no so on the was. And time no post also ba. My year in there was more to come.
Everybody go day, oh, day, oh, day.
Still in entertainment, music executive and talent manager Kwesi Ernest has urged Ghanaian musicians to leverage on the association with other international acts in order to tap into their marketing skills. He was on TV3 New Day earlier this morning.
Look at a group like R2Bs.
Yeah.
R2Bs. They are always hanging around with Wizkid.
Yeah.
Everywhere you say Wizkid, these guys are with him. Then I said, so what is happening? If you are with Wizkid, and Wizkid is playing all the shows, he's playing all over the shows in America, he's playing and he's making all the big guys. What is stopping you guys from actually sitting down with these guys, tapping into his marketing skills and everything, instead of maybe you boys drinking Hennessy and drinking this and everything? I think so. When they get the fame, we are expecting them that they should leverage on the fame, be able to do more plugins so that they can have more platforms created by themselves. Not just hanging around these celebrities. We are hanging out with Wizkid, and then Wizkid comes to private jet and he goes the next day.
And that'll be all for entertainment. My name is Anita Ikia Ikufu. Have a good evening.
It's now time for some international news. Paul Rusesabagina, who was serving a 25-year sentence in Rwanda on terrorism charges, is expected to be released on Saturday. Paul, now 68, was jailed after a trial his supporters denounced as a sham that was plagued with irregularities. According to the Free Rusesabagina website, he has now been detained for 939 days. Paul was released after he wrote a letter to President Paul Kagame seeking clemency. Rusesabagina was portrayed as a hero in the Hollywood film Hotel Rwanda and was serving a 25-year sentence in the country on terrorism charges. He's credited with saving some 1,200 people during the 1994 genocide. An asteroid large enough to destroy a city will pass between the orbits of Earth and Moon this weekend, likely for us missing both. The object, named 2023 DZ2, was discovered a month ago. On Saturday, it will pass within 515,000 kilometers of the Moon before flying by Earth hours later. It is rare for such a huge asteroid, estimated to be between 40 and 90 meters in diameter, to come so close to the planet. According to NASA, it is an important opportunity for astronomers to increase their knowledge of asteroids in the event that a dangerous object was discovered with the potential to hit Earth.
Right, thanks very much for staying tuned to us here on News 360. Came to you live from our studios here at Adesawe in Kanda. I've been your engineer tonight. My name is Pakwisi Asari.
And I, your painter, Aisha Yakubu Hali. There's more news on 3news.com. Have a good evening.
Assassini, airport in Limaye, Mojana, Nanum Shegu, Nadi to Homaye. Meet the new Mrs. Chima.
And I'm not sure, say your hospital go Hopi if you hear the final way I get for your dog.
I still have your underwear in my office drawer.
I could never imagine you would end up being my stepmother.
Anybody with the capacity to give you great joy can also bring you inside.